The year is 1492. Imagine Spain, standing on the edge of a new dawn. Banners fly high over conquered lands, and its rulers, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, sit on twin thrones, their power forged in faith and fire. But amidst all their victories, one single choice would ripple through time, changing not just their kingdom, but the entire world. At the very heart of that choice was Queen Isabella of Castile, a woman of fierce devotion, political genius, and an unshakable belief in her destiny. History would remember her as the Catholic Queen, but her true legacy stretches far beyond religion. She was the woman who dared to fund an impossible dream, the voyage of a little-known Genoese sailor named Christopher Columbus. Isabella was born in 1451, into a world where women were meant to be seen, not heard, to obey, not command. Yet, even as a girl, she possessed an intelligence and a strength that could not be contained. When her father, King John II, died, the kingdom of Castile descended into chaos. Her half-brother Henry was a weak ruler, surrounded by corrupt nobles. Intrigue and betrayal were the currency of the court, but in the middle of this turmoil, Isabella began to rise. Not by simple inheritance, but by sheer force of will. When powerful princes from Portugal and France came seeking her hand in marriage, she refused. She knew her own mind and her own ambition. Instead, she chose a man who mirrored her own spirit, Ferdinand of Aragon. Their marriage in 1469 wasn't just a union of love, it was a union of purpose. Together, they would unite Spain under a single crown and transform it into one of the greatest powers on earth. But Isabella's path to the throne was anything but peaceful. Her claim was contested, and a brutal civil war erupted. Against overwhelming odds, she rallied her forces, showing a strategic mind that stunned her enemies. And she emerged victorious. In 1474, at just 23 years old, she was crowned Queen of Castile. She was now one of the most powerful women in Europe, and she ruled with a clarity and courage that was rare for any monarch, man or woman. Her vision was vast. She didn't just want to consolidate her realm, she wanted to purify and expand it. Alongside Ferdinand, she waged the final decisive chapter of the Reconquista, the centuries-long struggle to reclaim the Iberian Peninsula from Muslim rule. For 10 long years, Isabella was no distant queen. She was on the front lines, overseeing armies, negotiating alliances, and masterfully managing the kingdom's treasury to fund the war effort. Then, in 1492, the city of Granada, the last Muslim stronghold in Spain, finally fell. The Christian reconquest was complete. As victory banners waved over the city, a persistent stranger waited at her court. He was a sailor from Genoa with wild eyes and even grander ideas. His name was Christopher Columbus. He spoke of a radical idea, reaching the riches of Asia by sailing west, across an ocean of mystery that everyone called the Sea of Darkness. To most of the court, he was a dreamer, a madman, or a fool. But to Isabella, he was something more. While her advisers dismissed him as a crank, she listened intently. While others mocked his outlandish theories, she prayed. She saw in his quest not just the potential for wealth or glory, but a sense of divine destiny. Still, Spain's coffers were nearly empty after a decade of war. How could even a queen risk everything on a single, desperate voyage into the complete unknown? Her advisers urged caution. The risks were too great, the rewards too uncertain. But Isabella's faith, both in God and in her own political instincts, was absolute. In a moment that would become legendary, she declared, "I will pledge my own jewels if I must." In the end, it wasn't her jewels but her royal authority that secured the funds. She overruled her counselors and gave the order. On August 3, 1492, 3 small ships, the Niña, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, set sail from Spain under her flag, disappearing over the western horizon. For months there was only silence. Then word returned. Columbus had found land. It wasn't the Indies, as he believed, but something far more significant: a new world. The oceans had yielded their greatest secret, and Spain's name was suddenly carried to the farthest corners of the earth. This discovery didn't just change history, it shattered it. It began a new era of exploration, conquest, and colonization that would alter continents forever. Isabella's vision had opened the world, but it had also unleashed forces of unimaginable power, glory and grief, faith and fire, all intertwined. In her final years, Isabella remained a devoted ruler. She championed education, reformed the government, and became a great patron of the arts, ushering in a golden age for Spain. Yet her reign was not without its deep shadows. The Spanish Inquisition, launched under her rule to enforce religious uniformity, would stain her legacy with blood. It was the dark side of her unwavering conviction, unyielding and unmerciful in its pursuit of what she saw as divine order. When she died in 1504, she was mourned as the queen who had unified Spain and changed the world. In the centuries since, historians have debated her legacy. Was she a saint or a sinner? A visionary or a zealot? The truth, as always, is complex, but one fact remains undeniable. Without Isabella, Columbus's ships might never have sailed. The map of our world would look entirely different. She was a queen who ruled with an iron will and a profound sense of purpose. A monarch who turned a wild dream into reality. She was the woman who looked out at the endless, terrifying ocean and said, "Yes," when everyone else in the world was saying, "No." She saw beyond the horizon and dared to change the world. Queen Isabella's faith shaped empires and rewrote destiny itself. If her incredible story of courage and conviction fascinates you, make sure to subscribe and join us as we uncover more untold stories of the powerful queens who ruled the world. Thanks for watching.